cut in the way that there is nothing in cut or not cut. And that will be a true cut, a true mind that doesn't have a trace. Cut. There isn't anything in that cut or not cut, with everything. And it will become a dissolution without a trace, automatically. Trying to cut in a way that there is something in that cut. Make conclusion, it isn't anything in cut or not cut. So it will be a true cut, a true mind, without a trace of trying to cut or not cut. A true mind, a true cut, it isn't about trying to cut or not cut. If you're still trying to cut or not cut, what is doing the cutting, the trying, that is a desire. And it is a form of self-torture, still trying to cut and not cut. So when it's cut, there isn't anything in cut or not cut. With everything, it isn't anything in cut or not cut. With everything. So it is a true cut, a true mind that doesn't have a trace of cut, a trace of mind. That is it. A true mind isn't about trying to mind or not mind, not trying to cut or not cut. A true cut is not about trying to cut or not cut. A true mind, a true cut. There isn't even the cut itself, the mind itself. It is not about to take cut, to cut this and that. If you still stuck with cutting, it isn't about cut or not cut. It isn't about cut or not cut. Make that conclusion. So it becomes the dissolution without a trace. And all is gone. It will be the emptiness, automatically, something that is beyond release of release. Release the released, that is a medium level effect. It can be beyond that. It became the dissolution without a trace. I have told you, everything is from not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. Everything is the same. From not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. Even the not grasping the non-grasping itself. That is how the all gone will be all gone. Will be all gone of the all gone. Any sentence, it isn't about holding on to any sentence I have given you. It has to dissolve themselves. Every sentence is self-dissolved. It isn't about holding on to any of the sentences. Everything is from not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. What I have given you isn't for you to grasp on. It dissolves itself after you heard. Release the release accordingly. There's nothing left. Your cut should be in a way that it isn't anything in that cut or not cut. And it will be a true cut. A cut that doesn't mean anything, doesn't have anything in that cut or not cut. That will extinguish and empty out everything. Don't let it be any idea, any thought that remains. Make conclusion that dissolve conclusion, dissolve the dissolving as well. Don't leave any thought behind. And it won't just be only the extinction for yourself or just a dropping state, but it will be the great compassion for everything. It's not about staying with cut, not about having the ending for yourself. It will be end of the ending for everything altogether. You have to be careful not to stuck at only cut or not cut, relate or not relate. So it will be the end of the ending for everything. That is great compassion. Don't just stay at attached, not attached, cut or not cut. Cut should be the cut that doesn't have any meaning in cut or not cut, and it will be a true cut without limit, without a trace. It isn't about staying with cut or stuck at that. If you not relate, it's not related to either relating or not relating. It will be the dissolution without a trace, without limit, by itself. It's not about being with relating or not relating. Not relate in a way that it's not relating to both relating and not relating. So it won't be only sticking or stuck with relate or not relate. It can be beyond that. Beyond relate and not relate. If you stay with relate or not relate, it just be either extinguished or not extinguished. If you not identify, both identify, not identify. If there is a thought like not identifying, make conclusion. It isn't about either identify or not identify. So it becomes the emptiness, the extinction, the dissolved. That is it. Cut. That doesn't mean anything in cut or not cut. That's why it cut both cut and not cut. Not relate. That not relate to either relate and not relate. Not grasping. It isn't anything in grasping or not grasping. It doesn't mean anything to grasp or not grasp. That is why it's not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. When it cut, both cut and not cut, it means that there isn't anything in either cut or not cut. When you not relate to both relating and not relating, it means that There isn't anything in relating or not relating. When it's not attached, both attached and not attached, it means that there isn't anything in attaching or not attaching. It isn't about trying to cut or not cut. A true cut. It isn't about trying to cut or not cut. If you're still trying to cut and not cut, it means you are manipulated by desire to practice, to have intention. A true mind, a true cut. It isn't anything in cut or not cut. It isn't about trying to cut or not cut. Dissolve and end the practice, end your intention. The practice, end the practice. If you haven't end the practice, that practice will be a beginning. A true cut, it isn't about trying to cut or not cut. A true not relate is the same. It isn't about trying to relate or not relate. It is beyond both relating and not relating. And it will be the emptiness, without a trace, without limit, which is the great compassion for everything. It becomes the essence of great compassion automatically. Not relate means not relate, both relating and not relating. And it won't be anything in relating or not relating. Cut both cut and not cut with everything. And it won't be anything in cutting or not cutting automatically. That is it. It isn't about trying to cut or not cut. That is a true cut, a true mind. That is it. A true not relate. It isn't about trying to relate or not relate. Still trying to relate and not relate. That is still desire thought, desire idea. It is still a desire of feeling, of thought. Still some kind of desire of idea, relate and not relate, a true not relate. It has nothing to do with relating or not relating. It isn't about trying to relate or not relate. A true mind is the same. A true cut, the same way. It isn't about trying to cut or not cut. And it will be a true mind, a true cut. A true mind that isn't the mind itself, a true cut that isn't the cut itself. It isn't a feeling of cut. If you still feel that it's a cut, you already cut, that is still a desire of idea, of thought.